Good morning, students. So today in the session we are going to see from the chapter that is control and materials of MEMS. So our subject introduction to MEMS. So we have in chapter number 2 control and materials of MEMS. I am Madhuri Mui, working as assistant professor in Department of Electronics and Telecommunication, Sharad Institute of Technology, College of Engineering. So let us see the first upon the remaining point from this chapter. Okay, so last time we have discussed polymers for MEMS and microsystem applications. So in this first application is nothing but photoresist polymers. So used as mask for creating desired patterns on substrate by polylithography. So it is polymers are used as a mask for creating desired pattern on substrate by photolithography. Then second is the photoresist polymers. So used to produce the prime mold in the Liga process. Okay, so primary mold in the Liga process. Then conductive polymers. What is meant by conductive polymers? Then it is used as organic substrate. Then next is the polymers which behave like piezoelectric crystals, used as a source of actuation in micro devices such as those for micro pumping. Okay, so ferroelectric polymers, so which behave like piezoelectric crystal. So piezoelectric crystal means what? The force is converted into the electrical signal. So like that, ferroelectric polymers that is used as a source of actuation in micro devices such as those for micro pumping. Then fifth is the thin Langmuir bloated, that is LB film. So used for multi-layer microstructures. So these polymers have various tremendous application. Then next, these polymers used as a coating substance for capillary tubes to facilitate electro-osmotic flow in microfluidics. So used as a coating substances for capillary tubes to facilitate electro-osmotic flow in microfluidics. Then next application is thin polymer films. So used as electric insulator in micro devices and as a dielectric substances in micro capacitors. Okay, so thin polymer films used as a electric insulator in micro devices and as a dielectric substances in micro capacitors. Then used for electromagnetic interference, that is EMI, and radio frequency interference, that is RFI shielding in a microsystem. Okay, so polymers are used in a electromagnetic interference and radio frequency interference shielding in microsystem. Then this polymer also used the encapsulation of microsensors and packaging of other microsystems. Okay, so it will provide the protection from the outer environment, or this same thing used as a packaging for that the lens. So these are the some polymers application so listed here. So that last time in the last session also we have seen, but now we have seen in detail these polymers or that is polymers applications. Then next point is the polymer micromachining. So polymers used in a MEMS fabrication are typically UV crucible, that is ultraviolet curable. So polymers used in a MEMS fabrications are typically UV curable. So typical MEMS polymer materials include urethane acrylate, then epoxy acrylate and acrylopropylene. So typical MEMS polymers materials include urethane acrylate, epoxy acrylate and acryloxylene. So low viscosity allow for easy molding and elimination of solvent. Okay, low viscosity allow for easy molding and elimination of the solvent. So these features are used in a polymer micromachining. Then again in a polymer micromachining, polymer based MEMS can be fabricated using a microstereolithography, that is MSL techniques. Okay, polymer based MEMS can be fabricated using a microstereolithography, that is MSL technique. So polymer MEMS are fabricated using a focused laser beam which is nearly equal to 1 meter spot size. 1 mm spot size, 1 mm spot size. So polymer MEMS are fabricated using a focused laser beam that is nearly equal to 1 mm spot size. So polymer surface begins polymerization upon exposure to the laser. So repeated scanning and exposure can be used on single or multiple layers. Okay, so repeated scanning and exposure can be used on single or multiple layers of polymer to fabricate a true 3D device. Okay, so repeated scanning and exposure can be used on single or multiple layers of polymer to fabricate a true 3D device. So other fabrication techniques include micromolding, jet molding and embossing. Okay, micromolding, jet molding, embossing. So these are the polymer micromachining. Okay. Then polymer micromachining pros and cons, that is advantages and disadvantages. So what are the polymer micromachining pros and cons? That are we are going to see. So in advantage, the fabricated MEMS are true 3D components. Okay, so fabricated MEMS are true 3D components. Then readily adaptable to biological applications. Okay, so they are readily adaptable to biological application. Also low Young's modules. Then good for bending and flexible applications. So they are good for blending and flexing application. So they are easily fabricated. Micromold process, they are used in micromold process. Okay, so these are the advantage of polymer micromachining. So first is they are 3D components, adaptable in biological applications, as well as low Young's modules, as well as it is good in bending and flexing application, easily fabricated, and micro mold process they are used. So what are the drawbacks? So these cons are nothing but the drawbacks. So newly developed field, at that time it faces that the again challenging task. Then much more research and development is needed. Okay, so whenever you are going to use that in the newly developed field, so there is a more work on R&D must be there, and then only we can use that in the successfully. So process integration with current silicon electronics is difficult. Okay, process integration with current silicon electronics is difficult. It will require polymer based electronic system. Okay, so it will require polymer based electronic system. So every that the material having its own advantage and disadvantages. So in this we have seen the polymer advantage and disadvantage. Okay. So let us see the overview of this session. So from the beginning of this chapter, so in this chapter we have seen the substrate and wafers. So first upon, what is meant by substrate and what is meant by wafers. So substrate is nothing but it is a flat microscopic object. Okay, it is a flat microscopic object on which fabrication process takes place. And what is meant by vapor? Vapor is in semiconductor, the substrate is a single crystal cut in a slices from a larger piece of wafers. Okay, so largest from the of vapors, the single substrate is formed. So after that, in vapors we have seen there are two types of the substrate: active substrate material and passive substrate material. So from that active substrate material we have seen silicon, germanium arsenide, germanium and quartz. Okay, so what is the reason why it is active substrate material used? That we have seen because they are dimensionally stable, insensitive to environmental, it is high precision, and each atom carries 4 electrons in a outer orbit and shares these 4 electrons with its 4 neighbors. Okay, so that's why active substrate materials are good in a micro machining. Then after that we have seen what is the use of silicon. So silicon is successfully handle the electrical as well as the mechanical properties. So that's why the most common substrate material is nothing but the silicon, because it is abundant, inexpensive, ability to be deposited in thin films. Then shapes using photolithography are perfect. So that's why the silicon is very useful. So as compared to the germanium as well as the germanium arsenide. Then we have seen low crystallography index planes in a silicon. So silicon is important in a fabrication of MEMS devices. Okay, so we have seen the single crystal silicon. So how they are the coordinator with that the orientation that we have seen. Then silicon wafer micro machining process also we have seen. So there are 10 steps to follow to form one that the silicon wafer, because up to this we have seen that the which type of the material is suitable for that the micro machining, but that material itself having its complex task to form that. So silicon wafer which is used to make the substrate. So for that we have to first upon manufacture the silicon wafer. So this is the procedure where crystal growth, then from that crucible we have to put the raw materials, and by heating up to that temperature we have to create into the single crystal ingot. Then crystal trimming and diameter grid is used. Flat from that flat griding it outlet. Then wafer slicing, then edge routing, then the rounding. Edges are rounded. Then lapping will done. Then vapor etching. Then polishing of that the vapor. And after that the vapor inspection is there. And after that we will get the single silicon vapor. Okay. So after that we have seen the types of silicon. So single crystal silicon, polycrystalline silicon, amorphous silicon, then single crystal silicon, how it is developed, then what are the properties of the single crystal silicon, that we have seen. Then how that the single crystal silicon looks. So single crystal silicon vapor, and this is nothing but the single which is made up of that the uh, forms of the vapors. Then we have seen the polycrystalline silicon, second type of that. So this type of the polysilicon micro machine and devices is used in a consumer electronics, like the Wi-Fi controller. Then in iPhone and touchpad here, that the triaxial accelerometers and gyroscopes are used. So there are number of their uses of that the polysilicon micro machinery device and components. Then we have seen the silicon components. So in that silicon nitride we have seen, silicon dioxide we have seen, silicon carbide we seen. So which type of that the used and what are that the properties of the we have seen. Okay, so where that the silicon carbide is used. So based upon MEMS resonators. Then we have seen the MEMS material. So in that polysilicon surface micromachining, bulk silicon micromachining, and that the LIGA process, that is lithographic galvanoforming abforming. So that is LIGA, that is gallium arsenide process. Then silicon carbide, then diamond and diamond like carbon, as well as the polymer. So we have seen that the quartz, that is also compound of the SiO2. So quartz is an ideal material for the sensor because it's near absolute thermal dimensional stability. So that's why it is the ideal material for sensor that we have seen. Then the properties of the quartz we have seen. So it is more dimensionally stable than the silicon, more flexible in the geometry than the silicon. Then we have seen the piezoelectric crystals. So whenever the force is applied, that is converted into the electrical signal and vice versa. Then we have seen the types of crystals, natural crystal and synthesized crystal. So in natural crystal, quartz, tourmaline, sodium, potassium, tetrate, and in a synthesized crystal, rochelle salt, barium titanate, and lead xenoid titanate we have seen. So after that we have seen the applications of crystal. So it can be used as the impact detonation, as well as the in actuators and dynamic signal transducers. Okay, that crystals are used of. Then we have seen the polymers. So that polymer materials is such that plastic, adhesive, plexiglass, and luthies. Then we have seen the history for the polymers. So plastic card approximately 150 mm wide, containing thousands of microchannel for microfluidic electrolytic system. So examples of the MEMS where that the polymers are used. Then we have seen the applications as well as the advantages of the polymers. So it is used in insulator, shaping, capacitor film in electrical devices, die pads in integrated circuits, as well as we have seen the advantages of polymers, that is lightweight, easy in processing, low cost of raw materials, and process for producing polymers. Then high corrosion resistance we have seen. That is the advantage. Then high electric resistance, flexible, and dimensionally stable. Then we have seen the gallium arsenide, that is also compound of the semiconductor. So what are the advantages? Material for photonic device due to its high mobility electrons, as well as it is easier for electric current to flow of material. Then comparison of gallium arsenide and silicon we have seen. Then we have seen the polymers for MEMS and microsystem applications. Then we have seen the polymers micromachining. Also polymer micromachining we have seen, and after that we have seen the pros and cons. So this lecture we have concluded that we have seen the summary of the all previous 4 lectures, as well as the advantage and disadvantage of the polymers that are remaining, that also we have seen. So in this session we have seen that the materials used for the MEMS fabrication. So up to that we have covered Then the digital controls and analog controls that we have seen, we are going to see in a next sessions. Okay. So we have completed here that the most of the part from the chapter number 2, that is controls and materials of the mains. Thank you.